Hey guys, this is Introducing Emmy, and we're back with another episode of Redline Tuesday. This time, this one's from Devon. She didn't have I don't think she had a site or an email address, well, I mean, she had an email address. She did not contact me telepathically, sadly. But I don't think she had a website, so I can't give you anything. But she says, this animal is not exactly modeled after any specific animal, except the body is similar in size to a lion's. The guts anatomy would be appreciated as well as the wounds. So that is what we are going to do. We are just going to be focusing on guts, which consequently is also one of my husband's favorite anime characters. I'm just going to lay out some basic anatomy. Actually going to make this a little lighter. I hope that you guys will still be able to see it. I'm actually going to put just a color over top of the whole thing so I can see it a little easier. I prefer to work at night on any of my art because there's not as much of a glare. But I'm working on this during the day and you have to make do. So since this is not based on any real creature, I'm not going to harp on you about certain anatomies. And I will let you do as you please with that. But I will harp on you about the guts. So actually this is where the shoulder would be, but I'm not even going to worry about that. Oh, what'd I click? Shoot, sorry. Okay. So first off, you have the rib cage. Here the ribs are kind of low and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's an okay number. I forget exactly how many ribs humans have, but again, but ribs are kind of shaped like, well, it depends on the creature, but they're generally large. And in humans, they're kind of shaped like that. Sort of like a, oh, I forget what you call this shape, like a chevron, I guess. And you have a sternum, which is the thing they crack open when they do open heart surgery. And then your ribs sort of go upward to that. I'm exaggerating. A teens. And they're also even, unlike my sketch. So, in fact, a lot of our organs are held in under the sternum. Our heart, our lungs, I think part of our liver. I'm sure there's other stuff. So, what I would actually recommend for this creature is maybe looking at a cow and actually our sternums are a little higher. I would say like maybe a cow, a horse. I'm trying to think of animals that have kind of unique internal anatomy. I say a cow because they have multi-chambered stomachs. This guy looks like he eats. a decent amount. Perhaps he would like multiple stomachs. I said that kind of weird. I don't know why. So I'm kind of winging this so far as the anatomy is concerned. Because this is, like with fictional creatures, I kind of give a pass to myself and to people. Drawing it. I mean, there should be some grounding in reality, but like if you want to give it like 14,000 million ribs, I'm not going to stop you. So, my ribs could be rounder. But, yeah, I would definitely round upwards as opposed to rounding downwards, because it makes it look like the ribs were already sort of going in a downwards direction, which is not, I don't think that's what you want to do. Just trust me on that. So then, for guts, this is because he's got a really long abdomen. First he would have his lungs. And depending on like what kind of organs you want to give him. I mean, honestly, you could get really wild. Most people are not going to be criticizing your creature's guts because you made them up. However, I will say that... Oh, I just noticed that. I'm guessing this is supposed to be the spine. Right here? Hold on. I think I'm a little bit confused. I think I'm seeing his tail in the background, and that's sort of throwing me off. Okay, so I think this is actually his back. Well, anyway, you wouldn't be able to see his spine if not like that anyway, especially if his back was still curved. So spine would be up in here. I was trying to eyeball like where it would be here. Now, as far as the intestines go, man, he's got so many. They actually wouldn't necessarily like fall out like that. However, in humans, they do. I'm trying to think what the word. It's like menstruaceous or something similar to that. Is the name of the mucousy, stringy material that holds our intestines in place, and I think some of our organs as well. And it's actually attached to our spines, and a lot of scientists think we would be better off if it was attached to our rib cage, because we're bipedal, unlike animals who are quadpedal. I can't think of the word, but who walk on all fours, and we don't. And because of that, our intestines, rip a lot easier. You probably hear people getting what do they call it? A hernia? I want to say a hernia. I thought I had a hernia one time. I about lost my mind. It turned out I had a little swollen lymph node, but it felt like this big lump sticking out of my abdomen, and I was like, oh god, my intestines are trying to come out of my body. Alright, so intestine anatomy. So intestines kind of look like a speech bubble with guts inside. So, I mean, this is a terrible drawing, but this will give you, this is the large intestine. This is your poo hole. And then in here you have a whole bunch of small intestines. And this is where food happens. And then your stomach is like back there. So yeah. So you would have probably I would say you'd have a really large segment hanging if you wanted to be real gross about it. And then also, large intestines, when you draw them, there's like a thread that runs the length of them, and don't ask me what half of this shit is, 'cause I don't know. I just know how to draw it. And then there's sort of like a bubbly quality to the outer edge on both sides. And then the small intestines are, from what I've seen, much smoother. They're just a hose, basically, that has like light veining and material on top of it. They're really not, there's not much to them. A lot of times in horror movies, when they show the small intestines coming out of people's bodies, they just use like cotton rope or, you know, rubber hosing and just like cover it in blood and stuff. Because it really is, it's like basically all it is. So when you go to do this part, kind of curve the edges of it, make it more bubbly. And then for the small intestines, you can just strewn that shit up like Christmas lights. Okay, so I just got done watching, while I work on these intestines, I'm just going to talk about whatever. I just got done watching the Poughkeepsie tapes. I'd really been looking forward to it. To be honest, I really enjoyed it. I'm a big fan of the found footage genre, and I thought they did a really good job, considering there were over like 60 speaking roles in the film. But there was this one part, and I'll try not to spoil too much in case you haven't seen it. But there's this one part in the film where they talk about a murder scene, and the officer says, oh, you know, it was so grisly, his intestines were strung up like Christmas lights. And then they cut to what is allegedly actual footage or photos of the crime scene. And it's like the cleanest crime scene I've ever seen. I'm like, no, where are the intestines for Christmas lights? They build you up to it, and then they just shoot you down. So I think what I'm actually going to do... Okay, so what I did was I just kind of like scribbled out a layout for my small intestines. And then I went in with the eraser and kind of just cleaned them up a little bit, so you can see like where the individual ones lie. And right here what I was doing was I was trying to show like a webbing of material, like where the menstruasis, the Mustafa, I don't know, the mucousy material, the fibrous material that holds your intestines in. I was trying to show like where it was ripping. The way that I like to show, especially organic material, ripping is that generally like when flesh rots, or like when especially material on the inside of the body, when it tears, it doesn't tear like paper or fabric. So like sorry, I'm just doing this as an example. So when fabric tears, it like leaves a ragged, wide open mark like that. You know, and it's very straight. Okay? But when material in the human body tears, it tears in circles. And this can be said of any like membrane. You know, like when you play with gum, don't lie, you play with your gum. It kind of tears in circles. That is that's the difference. Oh, so here's a contemporary example. If any of you watch the new My Little Pony show, Friendship is Magic, there's a character named Chrysalis, Queen Chrysalis, Queen of the Changelings, I think. And her like wings and her feet, like her hoovies, are kind of like that. And I know they were going for more of like I think they were going for more of like a bored out sort of look, but it's a similar sort of concept, that like poking holes in things. So there you go. Ew. And then with blood is very, very thick and oozy. Okay, it actually really isn't. But when you're going for a gruesome feel, you want it to look and in your drawing and feel like it's clinging a lot more than it is. It helps kind of set the stage, in my opinion. There's a lot of different ways to draw blood and whatnot, to give blood different like consistencies and stuff. Like if you watch some of the older Romero zombie films, his blood tends to be a lot more viscous. Viscous. I think I want to go the other way. It's a lot more watery. Whereas like in newer zombie stuff, they tend to like give it a thicker quality. So it's really like up to you. I don't know why I'm using zombies as an example. I know this isn't like a zombie, but it's really up to you about like how you want to represent your blood, and to a lesser degree your guts. I think when it comes to guts, there just have to be a level of believability to them, even if you have like 14 stomachs or something like in a monster. You can't have like a brain fall out of their butt. You know what I mean? Like, people are gonna call you out on that shit. Even if the butt does reside in the, or even if the brain does reside in the butt. Yeah, like I said, I tend to be a lot more forgiving with gore, and especially fanciful gore. Um, if you guys have ever watched Nightmare on Elm Street, the original, I think there's a remake, or 6 now. I don't know, I've never seen any of the remakes, but there's like a scene where like blood shoots out of a bed and like splatters all over the wall and stuff, and I remember it at the time or since, it was kind of regarded as like an over-the-top scene. Like, oh, there's not that much blood in the human body or something like that. I can't remember the scene specifically. I just remember it was criticized. But if you're not familiar with this series, they're like all dream-based and like fantasy-based. So in my opinion, I feel like that's a little, like you can sort of forgive that. But like most art, it's all opinion. So how you choose like represent your gore and stuff is going to be up to what you're comfortable with and what the audience is not comfortable with. You want to make them uncomfortable. Okie dokie, so let's see. So he's got like pikes coming out. For drawing like implosion wounds, I would have like some lines just showing the tension of the flesh. Now technically it's broken beyond what you can see there. And then have these thick rivulets of blood coming out. And you want it to pool, not P-U-L-L, pool as in like a puddle or... Oh my god, people be quiet outside. They're all like yelling and shit. You want it to really puddle up around the wound, and then it will... Hold on. Yelling at their kids. And then it will thin out as it travels down the body or wherever the surface, and then it will start to, you'll find the drip. The drip is what's causing it to pull down in that way. P-U-L-L. So I'm assuming these are tears. Same sort of deal. You want a lot of blood near the opening, and then actually this is perfect. If you have two cuts really close to each other, what I like to do is have the blood from one cut running into the other on the surface, not underneath the skin. All your blood runs together under the skin. And then from there, have more coming, like, actually I could even go a little bit further. So this would continue. Like water, blood will find, you know, it goes with gravity. It will just keep going, you know. It depends on how much they're bleeding and whatever, but there you go. Sorry, just playing with your eye for no reason. Let's see. Any other battle wounds? So, okay, so this is like a stitched up scar. This is a really good piece to work on for this kind of stuff. There's a little bit of everything. So, with scars, what I recommend doing is drawing a thick line, then going in with your eraser. And just like kissing the eraser on either side. Now this would be a very badly stitched wound. I've had stitches before. Stitches are usually very, very nice. I mean, like, not nice to get, but they look nice, like if you have a good doctor. But we're not going for nice. We're going for grisly and sewn up. We want to still be able to see muscle and pulled tissue. Now, because I'm working really small, this is kind of hard to see, but up close, you really want it to look like it's really like pulling two sides of the skin together. This looks more like a staple, but if you just add a little bit of additional string, or oh, my dog just groaned at me. She thinks she's annoyed I'm talking too much. Something to that effect. You really want it to look like it's pulling on both sides, and you can see like muscle underneath. Same deal here. You know, you want it to pocket in around the pike, or whatever instrument of torture you would like. Just some blood. So I'm not focusing on the creature's anatomy in this episode. This is purely a gore episode, if you haven't figured it out yet. Oh yeah, the creature has like nails in it. Let's find a good spot for that. Is there any spot in here that I haven't? Okay. So for non-bleeding wounds, this is really simple. You just want to draw your little boo-boos. I really like what you did here with like the varying heights of nails. They're not all on the same plane. So like whoever did it was, or put the nails there, was doing it haphazardly and in a raucous way. So I'm not sure if these are supposed to be panels nailed on, or if this is like the skin or the fur or the scales have been shorn away. So like there's this darker part here, so I'm almost thinking that this is supposed to be like some kind of flesh or something peeled away. Yeah. So without coloring this, there isn't a good way to show what's the word I'm looking for? Like non-traumatic wounds, I guess. But make sure you add some lines. So let me see here. So this is gonna be our nail close up. So where the nail has punctured, make sure that you just show a similar type of like a poking in of the skin, just to help reinforce that it is there. I don't know why I'm making this nail so damn beautiful. But like I said, I don't know if he's supposed to be bleeding here or not. I don't think he is, 'cause I'm not really seeing it in the other ones. So I'm actually a little worried that I should work on his anatomy. I'm worried I'm kind of just like la 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 la, got some blood to the whole thing, and I should be focusing on his anatomies. I will not for now, because I think I'm going to do a little bit of a sequel to this and do like a gore tutorial, like how to, but in color, like a how to paint gore type thing, which may be more helpful than me just sketching this stuff, because to be honest, I find sketched gore to not be quite as powerful as painted gore. Because color says 1,000 words. So, yeah, I think I will call this one done. This is going to be a really short episode. I hope you've gotten something out of it. And I think I will do that. I think I will do a painted tutorial of gore. So, yeah. Also, keep sending in your Redline Tuesdays because I was just checking my files and stuff today. I think I only have up to about episode 30 to 35. Actually, like that's how many I have. So I think we're on episode like 18 or 19 or something right now. So that's, you know, about 18 more. And that's all I've got. So keep sending them in. You know, keep circulating the tapes and everything. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!